this is a bit of a difficult one, because I know if I start mentioning demons and stuff, you guys are going to just freak and say, oh, the guy's talking rubbish. But I was walking in Point Road. I wasn't looking for a prostitute. I was going to the wheel. There was a woman sitting there, and she looked at me. And I looked into her eyes, and I saw something wanting to devour me. It was the most creepiest, scariest feeling I've ever had. And it's the only time in my life I felt like a hamburger. Because it was horrible. But there was something demonic in those eyes, and they wanted me. And it happened again. I was in Pietermaritzburg, I was by myself, it was at night, I stopped at a petrol station. I got out the car, a woman parked in the next petrol pump, she got out the car, she looked at me, and it was probably a different woman, but that same look, I knew immediately that she was a prostitute. There was a guy who was a shaman in the Amazon jungle, dealing with demons and stuff, and he became a Christian. He came to America, and they interviewed him, and they said, "Is there anywhere where you see the demonic stuff happening in America?" He said, "Yes, it's in the prostitution profession. That's where he's seen it." So sex has spiritual links and bonds, guys. I don't want to scare you, but I'm just telling you my own experiences and experiences of other people. Right, what about sexual positions? That's your next question. Just lighten things up a little bit. Biblically, the marriage bed is sacred. And I believe if both of you agree on it, you're happy with it, then it's fine. Guys, you know, I did a quick calculation, and I've done it well over 1,000 times. And so will all of your parents have. And you get tired of doing it the same way. I know this is going to blow your mind, but all of your parents will have tried all the different positions. I'm telling you. It's just right. You get bored. No, my parents. Oh no, don't do it. I'm telling you that. I remember when I was in my prac year, I was working for this guy, and he said, "Yeah, no, we've tried all this." I looked at him, "Not you." Guys, it's true. It's happened. The next question, which I know is a biggie for the guys, the whole issue of masturbation, wanking, play with yourself, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to go too deeply, that's quite a sensitive issue. I have written a booklet on it. It's on Amazon Kindle if you want to go get a copy. I just wanted to say that my view on the subject is the same as James Dobson's and the other good Christian author, Richard Foster, is that there's actually nothing wrong with it. You got to deal, guys, I know, girls as well, but it's a natural reaction. And for me, my own experience is just get rid of it, get it done out the way. Otherwise, what happens is you fight it, and it gains power over you. I find that if you fight it, then you start having issues, because the one problem with it, I've looked at it from the old biblical side, and the one issue is what's happening in the mind. It's not what's happening down here, it's what's happening up there, that's the issue. And if you are driving a long distance and you know you've got a lot of testosterone flowing through your body because nothing's happened the last 3 or 4 days, you start having to worry about what you think about up here. So guys, my story with that subject is not an issue. Just whatever, it's all right. Get rid of it and don't worry about it. Don't make an issue of it. Sorry guys, this is going to be bad news for you. I thought that when I got married, I could have done with that and never worry about it again, but it's not the case. Your lady gets sick, you know, for a week or two and nothing happens, and actually she'll be glad that she can do that, because then she doesn't have to look after you. Just telling you the truth, not laugh. Right. I don't think a talk like this is completely like some talk on contraception. And you know, the Catholic Church is quite anti-contraception, and what are my views on it? I think we must be realistic. We're in a world where the population is exploding. We do have pressures on the planet. I can tell you my own personal story. I wanted a son, and I only got two daughters. And but we agreed we're going to have 2 kids. My wife said, no more, you wanted it, all that pain. So I went and had my tubes tied. I remember that night crying my eyes out. I just knew that there could have been another one. There could have been a child, a son, and there's not going to be any more. Although when I was your age, I was a big guy, pro the planet. You know, we've only got so many leopards left, and there's 7 billion people. I don't know. God's command to us is to multiply and to populate the planet. So, although I'm not going to go into issues of stuff that's about the different types of contraception, you can find all that information out there. It's easy. But just those are my thoughts. I think it is okay to use contraception, but be careful. Just think about your life and God's call to actually procreate. If you're going to say to me, well, we decided not to have any kids at all, I would probably say that's unbiblical. That's not what God's calling us to. Sexually transmitted diseases. Guys, I think you know we're in the world's highest AIDS area. Look, I looked on the internet for statistics for universities, and it's actually AIDS statistics for universities actually quite low, much lower than the average of the population. But I think out there, 1 in 4 children have lost a parent to AIDS. That's the statistic in KwaZulu-Natal. But it's not only AIDS. There's a whole bunch of other sexually transmitted diseases, which you guys have probably never heard of. Gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, crabs. They say that 1 in 10 Americans has a sexually transmitted disease, but half of those are between the ages of 18 and 24. And if you do your maths, that's like 50% of people. That's 1 in 2 have got a sexually transmitted disease in America at that age. Syphilis, since the invention of penicillin, syphilis is cured. 1 shot, you sorted. Syphilis is a huge pandemic in American universities just because of the immoral activity on those universities. Even though it's cured easily, it's still a big problem. Okay, what about abortion? Tough one. There's 2 things I want to say here. If you are considering an abortion, go and speak to somebody who had one 6 years ago. Because she'll be sitting in a playground looking at 6-year-old kids and thinking my kid could be running with those kids. When you're in a situation, you're in a dark hole, there seems to be no escape. But I think there is always a way. The other point I want to make, I don't know if any of you have read the book Heaven is for Real. Have any of you read that book? Heaven is for Real? It was a New York Times bestseller. It's about a 5-year-old kid that dies and goes to heaven and comes back to life again. He starts telling his parents about his experiences. One of the things that he experienced, he met a girl there, and the girl came up and said, I'm your sister. So when he comes back to earth, he says to his mom, Mom, you never told me I've got a sister. No, he had a sister on earth. So he said, no, yes, no, of course you've got a sister. No, another sister in heaven. And his mother said, well, what's her name? She said, she didn't have a name. She was very little, and you never gave her a name. And then she realized that she had a miscarriage. And that child from that miscarriage was in heaven. Now that starts making you think, guys. You know, I haven't written it down, but the abortion statistics in America are scary. Like, there's 200 million Americans, and they've had 50 million abortions. Yeah. Look, guys, I would say I'm a pro-lifer on this one. My personal opinion. All right, sex and alcohol. Be very careful with alcohol, guys. I don't think I need to tell you that. In marriage, it can be helpful to relax. You know, if you're stressed and your husband's giving you the gears because he wants it and you're not interested, it is helpful. But I want to tell you a story. a very sad story. When I was in third year, there was a first year girl, a very pretty girl, and I invited her to the rag ball, and she accepted it, and I was blown away. I wasn't the, I'm not a looker, I'm not very suave, and anyway, I took her on the date with some friends, and being my usual completely crazy self, I said, "Oh, so do you kiss on first date?" Well, that was the last time I dated her. But anyway, 2 years later, there was a party, and she got so completely drunk that she passed out, and the guys were lining up to shag her. Now, I didn't know about it at the time. I only heard about it afterwards. I heard the guys talking, and I didn't know whether it was true or not, but the next time I saw her, I looked into her face, and I knew straight away, because it looked like somebody had ripped her soul out of her. That's the only way to describe what she looked like. So guys, be very careful in that department. Okay. I think, guys and girls, ask God to keep your virginity as a gift for your marriage partner. I'll tell you what happened to me. I thought, no man, I'm strong. I will never have sex before I'm married. No problem. I will keep my virginity for my wife. And then when I got this girlfriend that I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, who had slept with 8 guys, and God had given it to me, I thought, well, why must I wait? So I'd actually made a decision. She was going to spend a night with us. The folks were out. I thought, okay, I'm going to sleep with her. And she actually stopped me. So my virginity, which my wife enjoyed in our marriage, wasn't my gift, it was God's gift. And that's why I would ask all of you, if you want to keep yourself for your marriage partner, which I believe you should do, ask God to help you with that gift for them. Alright, I want to end on a high note. When you guys go on honeymoon, you know what KY jelly is? If you don't, get some, take it on honeymoon. It's a personal lubricant. It'll help you guys. Guys, cut your fingernails. Keep them well trimmed. Okay, remember that foreplay isn't just a nice thing to do occasionally. It's part of sex for the female psyche. She needs that time. If you go too quick, she's not going to enjoy it. She's not going to be ready. It's going to be a disaster. Take time. Play a bit. Have a bit of fun in the beginning of it. Use KY jelly if necessary. Don't force the issue. I would even suggest, I know I was told this, first night, you're all stressed after the wedding. Maybe don't do it that first night. Just cuddle a bit. And if it happens, it doesn't, wait for the next morning. Don't force the issue, guys, because you want that first time to be nice, to be exciting. I just want to raise something because I have had experience of it, but it's very rare. If you come from, and the only reason why I'm talking about it is because religious guys sometimes come from strictly religious backgrounds. If you're a girl and you come from a strict religious background and you've got a negative attitude towards sex, or you've had a near rape instance, there's something called vaginismus. You can Google it. It's when the muscles clamp, tighten, and sex becomes impossible. And if that happens, you need to go see a psychologist to sort it out. They're not going to sort it out itself. It can be quite devastating for a couple to be married and not be able to have sex. And it happens. Okay. Guys, cranberry juice. Take cranberry juice on your honeymoon. Or at least citrus soda. Because you're playing down there,